The culture is excellent.
The gut ain't running there. Calling both games.
Las Vegas, you're also in a very perilous situation. You overachieved last season, but every rival in your division has either gotten significantly better or is still strong. On the other side of the coin, you get the liability of being the next team to think skinning the Patriots alive for Bill Belichick's leftovers is a good idea. Josh McDaniels is your head coach. Denver is sitting there laughing at you. Those last few times he was in charge were a disaster, but this time it'll be different. The Raiders need to make moves to get the stench of the Gruden-Mayock debacle off of them. Extending Max Crosby is a good start, even if he was a pick from their regime. Why not add the likes of Rock Yassin and Chandler Jones? Those are excellent additions in their own right, both needs to fill. But you know what the Raiders have sorely lacked? A big-time wideout. It's been a void since they traded Amari Cooper. Look to Green Bay and you will see it. A former college teammate of Derek Carr. Davante Adams is the man that will add the extra oomph the offense truly needs to get to that next level. Packers fans can cry all they want, but you know the motto in Vegas. Go big or go home. The Raiders are going big. Trading a first and second rounder for his services, and then extending him to an average of over $28 million per year. The price is as rich as Davante's bank account. And we all know that throwing everything for a 29-year-old wideout with a ton of mileage on him is always a good idea. I really hope he does work out, though. I like Davante. It's just how things work out for the Raiders, you know? Do you think it's enough for them to compete in this division? The AFC West isn't a conference, it's the fucking Cold War out there. Bringing in assistants and executives from the New England Patriots is a vice many teams foolishly desire. They're like a bug zapper. You know they will lead to your team's untimely death, but the light is too compelling for mere insects to comprehend. So while you may fall, you get a nice jolt in the process. Josh McDaniels is now leading the charge. And all of Denver is cackling in delight. Indianapolis might be as well, but they're probably more pissed at him being a snake. The Serpent will have some nice new toys to play with this time around. Mainly Davante Adams, reunited with his old college quarterback in Derek Carr. He better perform here, he got paid big time. For the defense, they now have Chandler Jones to terrorize offenses alongside Max Crosby. This might have been Tom Brady and Gronk in the past, but John Gruden got cold feet and ghosted them before the threesome. They're a tough team to gauge. Last year was really fluky. He won 5 games off the leg of Daniel Carlson, and it was damn impressive considering all the drama they went through. This year, they fired another president under shady circumstances? Really, you couldn't go just a few months without creating controversy? Can we just focus on the damn football and not have you go through a shitload of adversity? Again? The AFC, just like last season, is going to be a bloodbath. You can make the argument for nearly every team to be able to reach the promised land of the playoffs. And as a fan of the game, you can't ask for much more. The AFC East is pretty cut and dry, though. Buffalo will be taking that division with ease. The AFC North will go to Baltimore. Considering that they're finally healthy and able to field a respectable team should do wonders for them. To me, the AFC South is a coin flip between Indy and Tennessee. And I'm going to err on the side of the Titans for the time being. It's very close, though, just like the AFC West. Every team has a shot at winning the division. And for my sake, I'm going to go bold and pick the Broncos. I know, insane, but they actually have a QB and hopefully non-shitty play calling. That's all they needed. And as for the wildcards, it's a tough call, but I'm going to go with Kansas City, the Chargers, and the Bengals. I personally can't wait to see how wrong I am in these predictions, as always. Maybe they'll be as slow to develop as my vid schedule. There are 2 guarantees of the Raiders going to LA to play the Chargers. It turns into a glorified home game for the Silver and Black, and said Raiders can't win anything in LA against the Bolts. It was methodical for Justin Herbert. He played the part of a neurosurgeon, quietly needling the ball for efficient incisions and removing huge chunks of tumor from his field. Derek Carr tried his damnedest to keep up with the onslaught, so to speak. It didn't work out. Every time he said, you know what, I want to be Justin Herbert, he gave away the ball so fast that every charity would commend it. The game was definitely winnable. The Vegas offense kept gambling and losing it all. This is why I don't trust the Raiders to do anything of note this season. You don't have Rich Bisaccia's 4-leaf clover to fall back on. Welcome back to hell. What do you get when you have 2 coaches that fancy themselves as offensive geniuses, yet are forced to rely on talent to bail them out of their own idiocy? Well, you get this game. The first serve went to the Raiders. as they would take an absolutely useless game plan by Cliff Kingsbury and dominate them on all fields of play. For the Cardinals, I wouldn't be worried about the defense. They've been shit for a while. It's the offense that's alarming. This is Kingsbury's baby, and they can do nothing against the black hole. Kyler looks off. The whole system looks out of sorts. It's enough for the Raiders to secure a 20-0 lead against their foes. But what has been the calling card of the modern NFL? Totally coincidental comebacks that are becoming so commonplace that they're losing all meaning. Nothing makes sense anymore. So Kyler Murray goes to the options menu, ups his gameplay sliders all the way to 100 and carries the Cardinals to relevance. My God, it's unbelievable. The endless gaming sessions have amplified his reaction speed. Dude's not only no-scoping 12-year-olds on Call of Duty, he's no-scoping entire defensive schemes. Look at him rubber banding to frustrate every Raiders fan in attendance. This is why Arizona drafted the bastard to begin with. Note that this rambling encompassed one entire 2-point conversion, yet Kyler shows no mercy. It would be nice if the Raiders offense could do something to help, but Josh McDaniels always botches these kinds of situations. Denver could buy you a drink and tell you all about that. However, Arizona has a chance to be seen as utter frauds or utter frauds that somehow won the game. There are endless breaks given to the Cardinals. Happenstance penalties, Kyler Murray adding more tape to a defense's film study, Las Vegas completely exhausted thanks to being stuck on the field for a fucking age. Slowly but surely, the clock whittles away. The Raiders have had countless chances to put this game away, but they failed to do so. Time has ticked down to nothing. Put up or shut up time, kids.
Murray stepping up, gonna run for it, gonna make the end zone for the touchdown.
Welcome to the unbelievable bullshit of Kyler Murray football. Now prepare for the inevitable 2-point conversion.
From 7 yards out for the 2 points and the tie, Murray directing traffic to the end zone, diving, and the catch is made. A.J. Green.
Somewhere an Oakland A's executive is crying. This could have been theirs, but he chose to play football. Now with Arizona receiving the ball, they can finish their pathetic opponent off.
Murray going to throw it deep, down the sideline, and he's got a man, and bounced out of bounds is Marquise Brown.
Hollywood, you couldn't catch that shit? What the fuck did they bring you in for, to flop around and fail miserably? Now the Raiders can return to ruining their own chances at a victory. But you'll say, oh, that's impossible, they're in field goal range. How did they do so now?
2nd and 10, quick pass outside, and that is complete. That is low, and Moreau fighting for yardage. The ball is loose again. Picked up by the Cardinals. This is Byron Murphy to the end zone for the touchdown and the win.
Deus Ex Machina, that's how. Oh great, now every media pundit's going to pretend that Kingsbury's a genius when in reality he got bailed out by talent and circumstance. Not to mention, Josh McDaniels is a shit coach who should have never been given another shot to begin with. I personally wish the only win went to Kyler Murray. He was one of the only players who deserved it. Arizona got insanely lucky. They should have lost 12 separate times, yet Las Vegas and the NFL kept nudging shit in their direction. Every game has to be a drug cocktail these days, doesn't it? This league really is gonna kill me.
You blew it! You had it all and you blew it!
People thought this was going to be an elite matchup a few weeks ago. If you were to tell people that both these teams would start 0-2, you'd have lost all credibility. Truth, however, is much stranger than fiction. It's not an exaggeration to say that this is must-win for both teams. Especially for the Titans, who still believe they can get back to what they squandered last year. With a 24-10 lead at halftime, all looks good, but something happens. Something the Titans have dealt with for a while. They can't finish off their opponent. Their offense stalled out. Once you stop Derrick Henry, Tennessee can do absolutely nothing. The Raiders aren't doing much either, but that fear keeps consuming them. Las Vegas is creeping back. You can feel such tension in the stadium, it's absolutely rigid. The turnover game may be lopsided for the Raiders, but it doesn't matter. With the Titans' offense unable to pass even a sliver of stool, the Silver and Black are pushing forward down only one score. They saw how they failed in Arizona. They want revenge.
Derek Carr, far corner in the end zone. Mac Hollins
Don't start cheering yet. They need to go for 2 to tie.
on his 2-point conversion attempt. Carr throws, deflected, broken up.
Now you can start cheering. Last year the Raiders would have won these games. However, that was under Rich Bisaccia. Now you get a guy who's 5-20 in his last 25 coached games. You wonder if Mark Davis has buyer's remorse about skinning the Patriots for their table scraps yet? It's cost them the last couple of weeks. As the Raiders fall to the only 0-3 team in football, Tennessee lives on. For now. The Raiders are desperate. Being the only 0-3 team in the league has its perks. One of them being you have absolutely nothing to lose. Josh McDaniels may be awful, but the coach opposing him has no idea what the hell he's doing. In the friendly confines of the black hole, McDaniels must make himself comfortable with his surroundings. The two things that will win the day for the Raiders: the running game and crucial turnovers. Melvin Gordon gifted a ball to Amik Robertson so blatantly you should call it a tax write-off for charitable donations. Josh Jacobs, however, was not into charity. He was into taking what was his. That being one of the best games he's had in his career. Las Vegas potentially saves their season with a crucial win. It's funny if you're Denver. You spend all this time and energy trying to fix your issues at quarterback and shitty offensive scheming, yet they've made no progress on that front. In fact, I might argue it's even worse than it was last year. That team didn't have sky-high expectations. This one does. And Broncos fans, I hope you like cock and ball torture as well. Javonte Williams is out for the year with a severe knee injury. Jesus, this might be career-destroying. NFL will continue until morale improves. That is what the Shield told us with this game. In what was supposed to be the marquee matchup of the week, the MVP award goes to the officiating crew for dictating the course of play so effectively for 60 consecutive minutes. Monday Night Football starts out fine enough. The Raiders are out to an early lead as Kansas City has trouble starting the ignition. They're up by 17, but give it enough time, they'll be alright. It's looking that way in the second quarter. The Chiefs' engine is purring like a kitten. Touchdowns are starting to be scored. Even the defense is coming in clutch with a strip sack for a huge fumble recovery. Oh, wait a second, Chris. You put too much body weight on the quarterback and failed to read him a bedtime story during the sack. That's roughing the passer. What a bunch of horse dung. What do you want Chris Jones to do in that situation? Just hug him and give him a kiss on the forehead? I know they're grossly overreacting to the Tua situation that was their own damn fault, but if you're going this route, just have them play without pads on. The Chiefs fans know it too, as they now demand blood. Yet it's still a manageable game. It's here where the ref ball goes into overdrive. The officials realize that if Kansas City loses, they probably aren't getting out of there alive. The bullshit calls were going Las Vegas' way in the first half, they'll go Kansas City's way in the second half. Stuff that wasn't being called on the Raiders earlier is now getting a healthy dose of yellow flags. Such an impact performance that even Mahomes looks on in awe. But it may not be enough. The game is very close in the fourth quarter. Vegas has kicked a field goal to go down by 1. Mahomes and company do their best to make things happen, but it's not enough. They'll have to settle for a field goal.
Here I come to save the day.
Missed it.
And there's the ultimate makeup call the refs were waiting for. Defensive holding on a field goal? You almost never call that. So not only is it an automatic first down, Kansas City scores a touchdown to take the lead. Las Vegas is livid, but then we remember why they brought in Davante Adams in the offseason. An outstanding play deserves outstanding idiocy to follow. Josh McDaniels decides to go for 2. And calls an RPO. Why? It's okay to kick an extra point in this situation, Josh. He's now forcing his defense to make a critical stop due to his mistake. Fortunately, they do, but that's because the league's scriptwriters demand yet another nail-biting finish. I smell some more rigging on the horizon, but first this amazing catch by Davante. Oh, wait a second. He didn't fully possess the ball before both feet were down in bounds. Incomplete pass. This seems like bullshit because of everything else, but it isn't. Or is it?
Carr. Receiver falls down.
Alright, refs, I'm waiting on the flag. Really? No flag? Receivers just ran into each other? That is definitely a Raiders way to lose a game. Well, the officials may suffer a few broken bones in the parking lot, but they'll live. This game was terrible. An absolute disgrace to football. Not for the players on the field, but for a pathetic hack job by Zebras nudging the game in a million directions. The only thing I'll give them credit for was that they were equal opportunity. Instead of having one fan base feel like they were screwed, have both of them feel that way. Everyone loses in this scenario. Except for Vegas. Not the Raiders, the casinos. Kansas City failed to cover, so they were raking in that dough tonight. I bet the NFL gets a cut of that action too. We'll get even more of it as Devontae channeled Raiders fans and shoved a cameraman leaving the field. None of it going to the cameraman, of course. Great tank of the Texans rolls on with haste. They've had some hiccups on the ride, particularly with an accidental win against Jacksonville, but their Super Bowl has already been celebrated. Jack Easterby was crucified for his many sins. Perhaps his evangelical power healed Derek Carr after an injury scare. In this version of Tank Bowl, we have a surprising offensive showcase. One where Josh Jacobs destroys whatever the Texans call a defense. However, the game is still neck and neck. The deciding factor in these matchups is a simple one. Who wants to lose more? Fortunately for Houston, the Raiders still fancy themselves as playoff contenders. The tank of tanks remains strong, and it will be confirmed by a tasty pick six cooked up to Duron Harmon. Another scare for Las Vegas results in their continued survival for another week. Just don't know if it'll be enough to get anywhere close to a playoff spot. We told you already, Raiders, you can't play the Houston Texans every week. If you look like shit against an aging, injury-prone outfit like New Orleans, we have to question what the fuck you're actually doing over there. It feels like we got transported back to 2018 because this was an absolute beatdown. Suffocation by the Saints like they were captured by the insurrection. New Orleans may be looking to trade Alvin Kamara for a haul, but with this game it might give them enough false hope to hold serve. It's easy to look good against a Josh McDaniels team. This offensive mastermind was so stymied that the Raiders only accrued 183 yards for the day. They didn't get past midfield until about 3.5 minutes left in the game. A day so awful that Derek Carr got benched for Jarrett Stidham, who was somehow hiding in McDaniels' duffel bag for months. What a pathetic display. Should have kept Bisaccia, boys. Was it worth it to try to skin the Patriots alive? Is witnessing Josh McDaniels butcher every single thing about the game of football what you imagined when you hired him? Because in Raider Nation, it's become a way of life. A lifestyle that allows you to piss away 3-score leads like they're nothing. Who cares if it's against Jacksonville? This is the third time they've done this in 2022. What is game plan adjustment? What is offensive cohesion? I don't care if you have the best defense in the world. If your offense keeps shooting 3-and-outs every drive, the D will wear down over time. The Jags were dead to rights riding a 5-game losing streak, yet they magically rose like a phoenix. Trevor Lawrence was suddenly making the throws everyone expects him to make, and led Jacksonville to 20 unanswered points. Las Vegas used up all their luck and good fortune last year. Back to the cold reality of being irrelevant in the NFL landscape. And it's their own damn fault for it. Rich Bisaccia may not have led them back to the playoffs, but he'd have done a much better job than this. This game became a tank bowl throughout the week. Indy chucking Jeff Saturday out there to be a yes man for Jim Irsay. Ordered to his death by starting Matt Ryan? Wait, I thought they killed him off. Irsay was the one that forced that move to begin with. And now he's going to parade himself as the hero despite being a fool. Be fortunate they're playing a coach that fucked them over in a past life. Remember that Josh McDaniels was supposed to be Indy's coach, before he slithered back to New England after a matter of days. I said at the time that the Colts dodged a bullet. Today we see why. The Raiders are having trouble dispatching one of the biggest shit shows in football. The cackling you're hearing is coming from Colorado. Although that could be from trying to cope with the horrors of Broncos country. Jonathan Taylor promptly escaped from the horrors of his offensive slump with the game rivaling his might in 2021. Las Vegas is only down by 5 in the fourth without Renfrow or Waller, but really? This is the answer to your critics? You're failing against a head coach who was an ESPN analyst last week and an AI-generated offensive play caller named Parks Frazier. In your own house? No wonder why Blake Martinez just said fuck it and retired instead of suffer. Dear God, if the Raiders lose this game, they shouldn't just wallow in shame. They should contract the franchise.
You're lost. Oh my God.
Nathaniel Hackett has been a dead man walking since week 1. What's that, Mr. Walton? You forced to give up play calling since I'm overmatched as a head coach? Where do I sign up? Little does he know that the Broncos aren't cash poor like Mark Davis is. He will accept his lavish buyout like a man. It's probably gonna come sooner rather than later. People willingly watched this game in person. They spent actual money to watch the Broncos offense ride the stadium into a black hole. The Raiders welcome you into this horrible abyss, as this is how the match ended up. Terrible offense being laid to waste at the hands of defensive might. At least we can say this about the Broncos defense imitating the 77 Falcons. The Raiders, though? Against Denver, maybe? It turned into a battle of the field goal. The end zone is a sacred land. Its virgin grass cannot be contaminated by human feet. It's a place where the only touchdowns are scored in the first half. And the misery doesn't end there. Overtime awaits. Because it's a fitting punishment for our arrogance. The fortunate thing is the torture is brief before we are put to our death.
Fake to Jacobs. Carr loads up. Adams is open. Walk-off touchdown. A sweep of the Broncos for Las Vegas.
A hilarious outcome. Las Vegas wins a game and fucks up their crafted tank for their next quarterback. The Broncos still can't solve the intricacies of scoring more than 16 points in a game. The only real winner in this match was Seattle. They went from laughing stock to laughing at all of us in 3 months. How the turntables. Do you like unexpected offensive shootouts? Then you'll love this game. Derek Carr versus Geno Smith in a relentless assault by air and land. Seattle's been a solid team this year. Too bad it seems like they're starting to run out of gas. The defense is being assaulted by the likes of Davante Adams. The offense will do everything in its power to keep up. But Geno Smith's starting to lose the effects of the attack booster he ingested before the year. Fortunately, they are playing the Raiders, but it's still a neck-and-neck affair. Touchdowns will be delivered like blows in a boxing match. Geno botching a routine handoff to give the Raiders momentum. Las Vegas giving it right back with a turnover on downs. It's a fun game with teams you didn't expect to do much. And that's all you can ask for. There's a delivery man at the door. Did someone order more unnecessary overtime? Because it's been received. Featuring Daniel Carlson missing a rare field goal wide. Seattle unable to do anything to capitalize on their misfortune. And Josh Jacobs proving he needs to be paid.
Jacobs with running room right up the middle. Jacobs is on his way. The Raiders are going to win this game.
Man, that was a nice ending for the Raiders. Their second straight overtime win. It'd be nice if most of us in the States were able to watch it. We got Heidi Bowl in the 21st century. I will now call this game the 60 Minutes Bowl. At least they had dogs as a feature story. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is must-win for the Chargers. With how tough the schedule is for them coming up, they have to take every gimme when they can. This would be the right call to make, if it weren't for the fact that the Raiders exposed a key weakness of their opponent. Their utter lack of a defense. It's true they're injured to hell, especially on the defensive line, but they've been having issues on that front long beforehand. The imposter LA has no answers for Josh Jacobs or Davante Adams. How many times must we go over this? When people say the Chargers have a chance to break out, never believe them. We'll just fumble it like Austin Eckler somehow did on this drive. It all leads to the predictable pain that Chargers fans have learned to numb themselves from. You grow a tolerance to this kind of shit, that's not a good sign. It's merely resilience to a completely avoidable situation. Kind of like how the Chargers run things. Justin Herbert's transformation to the new age Phillip Rivers is going smoothly, because nothing good can occur in this world. Just like the Raiders winning their third straight. They play the Rams next week. Hey, have to make Josh McDaniels look good somehow. Yeah. The Ballad of Baker has taken an interesting swerve. After failing miserably at Carolina and his career in jeopardy, Mayfield requested his release from this hell. In his possible final hour, there was only one team that put in a claim for his services. The Rams. About 48 hours after joining the squad, he was picked up from the airport and thrown into a uniform. Good for you, sir. You're getting chucked right into the fire. It's against the Raiders. It's fucking terrible. Las Vegas can't do shit to smash a completely dead franchise, and the Rams are twitching on the side of the road. You can't really blame Baker for sucking. He barely knows the damn playbook. We'll have to sit around and listen to the media pretend that McDaniels has turned the team around. Or has he? Derek Carr's putting up his traditional dud of a performance every fifth game. Devontae Adams had one big catch, and that was about it. The gods love to inflict special cruelty against the Raiders. They must be punished for casting Bisaccia into a pit. Their defense will break down and fall apart repeatedly, unable to stop a completely destroyed Rams unit on a long drive. The much ballyhooed genius of McDaniels, 3 consecutive runs all the way to a punt. It was a very nice punt, though. Baker isn't driving 98 yards on a limited playbook. See, he threw a pick. Game over. Or not. Pass interference because Raiders. But they'll be vindicated by Max Crosby being a beast. I forgot they had Jerry Tillery now. You should leave him in Skid Row. Being a fucking idiot allowed Baker to unlock superpowers. 100,000 dogs unleashed at SoFi. All for the purpose of saving a career on life support.
2nd and 10. Mayfield to the end zone to Jefferson. Is that possible? Touchdown.
It's the same script the NFL used on Monday. Literally the same goddamn one. Baker dragged this fucking corpse of a franchise to a win because the Raiders exist. They literally fell off a cliff, blowing multi-score leads like they're trash on the side of the road. Seriously, Las Vegas? You couldn't beat that? I've seen vegetables with more life than the Rams had. This might be worse than losing to Saturday. There's many to blame, but Jerry Tillery's idiocy is the main culprit. Good news, buddy. You're Lol Cow of the Week. When the Chargers don't want your ass, there's a problem. Now all of you go and fuck off.
You had an opportunity, and you blew it.
The playoff push is reaching its final stages. Only one spot has been clinched by Philadelphia, but 4 weeks remain. In the AFC, it's wide open. Buffalo currently has number 1 seed, but Kansas City is close behind, if only because of a head-to-head loss with the Bills. Baltimore currently has the AFC North lead in the 3rd spot, and Tennessee has a loosening grip of the caboose division in the AFC South. Wildcards are currently held by Cincinnati, Miami, and the Patriots, but the Chargers and Jets are tied with New England at 7 and 6. A few other teams are 5 and 8, but they're long shots at this point. The picture will become clearer as time goes on. And as we all know, there's only one rule to follow.
Don't get eliminated!
Master versus Apprentice. This time, the apprentice is a failson who was given a 3rd chance because everyone still wants to skin the Patriots alive. Be amazed at how badly the Raiders keep squandering the endless chances they have. Witness the New England Patriots suddenly becoming a poorly coached shitpile surrounded by hacks and yes men. See this multi-score lead Las Vegas gets early in the game? Watch it vanish in the blink of an eye. Dead serious, they've done this 4 times this season. Maybe more, I forget. That's how commonplace it's been for the Raiders. So frustrating that this regime will have you begging for Gruden. How do you blow that lead? Why, do it in game-changing fashion with a great run by Ramondre Stevenson. All seems lost, but it's here where the hoodie's heart grew 3 sizes. He always allows his underlings to get the best of him in the regular season. It's a tradition unlike any other, and it continues here. Comebacks in the final minute of play are so predictable it's all but routine. Guess what happens here?
Carr, end zone, it is cold!
That's what we call a dart, kids. Sure, he might have looked out of bounds on more than a few camera angles, but that rule is one even the NFL finds stupid. Give him the damn touchdown due to inconclusive evidence. Right, Jan. The Shield loves them a good script, but just wait until overtime.
Mac Hollins out on defense. He's all the way back. Stevenson
Is anyone going to
is inside the 30, flips it back. Stanford band nowhere in sight.
Uh-oh.
It's picked off. Oh no! Oh wow! Incredible! Chandler Jones takes it in and wins the game for the Raiders.
Excuse me. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? I am having an aneurysm even trying to comprehend what this even was. Ramondre has a chance to speed back the edge, so he laterals it back to a player who runs backwards 10 yards and then yeets the ball back another 10 yards to a defender. There was no need to do this. You were tied. You had overtime. Mac Jones got shut like a toy chest for literally no reason. America as a whole lost entire sections of their collective cerebrum watching this play. We talk about cancel culture. The Patriots should be canceled for offending our senses of common logic and decency. This is the kind of shit that has people believe the league is manufactured for ratings. Congratulations, Patriots. You have your answer to the butt fumble. Imagine giving the Raiders a fluke win of all teams.
You maniac! You blew it up! Oh, damn you! God damn you all to hell!
We've had quite a lot of teams reach playoff land this week, didn't we? It doesn't mean we're anywhere close to settling how things will shake out. The AFC has many spots open to claim. Only Buffalo and Kansas City have clinched, and the Bills still have number 1 seed. Cincinnati overtakes Baltimore for the AFC North lead, as Ravens fans wonder why they keep squandering chances. Tennessee is far past that point. They've lost 4 straight and are in an existential state of dread. And for good reason. Baltimore has sole possession of the first wildcard spot with 9 wins, but it's probably a disappointment to them. Same as Miami, who falls behind the Chargers for the second wildcard spot thanks to losing their matchup with them earlier in the year. The Jets and Patriots, both with back-breaking losses, are the first teams out with 7 wins. They should be careful. There are a ton of teams with 6 wins, including Jacksonville, who's only a game back of their division lead. This is gonna be quite fucky, isn't it? Everyone left, you know what to say.
Don't get eliminated!
It's been 50 years since the Immaculate Reception. This was supposed to be a day of celebration. A day where Franco Harris's number would be retired in a sea of yellow-toweled glory. However, with Franco's tragic death days before, it's turned into a bittersweet tribute on the field of play. Quite literally, as it's morphed into a sheet of ice. In the blistering winds of an Arctic storm, the game is plodding along. Would you call it a tribute to the 70s? I don't know, but the offensive output is pathetic on both sides. We know Pittsburgh's offense sucks. It's sucked for a few years now. But what about the Raiders? All I can say is that Derek Carr should start looking at real estate in other cities. He's most likely done in Las Vegas. He laid an egg. The whole unit did. Josh McDaniels showed how much of a shit coach he was, like he has in most losses this year. It's not that they're losing in regularity. It's how they're doing it. This guy's supposed to be an offensive guru, yet they can't properly utilize Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams? What the hell are you? The only reason why they have the lead is because Matt Canada exists and Chris Boswell suddenly can't kick a field goal. The Winds will do that, however, the Raiders can't capitalize. Pittsburgh has the final drive, and spirits must convene. They will be nudged closer and closer to the goal line, with every second drifting away. I think we have an idea how this will end.
Pickett over the middle. Touchdown! George Pickens!
A last-minute passing touchdown in a bitterly cold home game where the Steelers win 13-10 over the Raiders. The scriptwriters really need to stop being so obvious. It's like they're taunting us with these lazy remakes. Franco smiles from above in a probably meaningless win because the true prize was achieved, making the Raiders look terrible. With a few big losses this week, the NFL playoff picture has become a mosh pit, as has been written for time eternal. The AFC North is still neck and neck between Baltimore and Cincinnati. Guess who plays each other in Week 18? That contest will more than likely be for the division title. In the AFC South, same scenario. Tennessee has fallen apart so badly that Jacksonville now holds the division lead. No matter what happens next week, their matchup is guaranteed to be for the right to advance as division leader. There are no changes in the first 4 seeds, but Buffalo can clinch number 1 seed if a few things go their way next week. In the wildcards, we know either Baltimore or Cincy will get one, and the Chargers just clinched another. But with Miami in freefall, the 7th seed is now murky. The Jets and Patriots, despite being awful as of late, still have a fighting chance. The Titans and Jags can still technically be wildcards, but their best shot of making it is winning their division. Pittsburgh and Las Vegas are clinging on for dear life, and will need many miracles to make it.
Don't get eliminated!
A marriage is a tricky thing. It may start out with incredible love, but there's a time where it may feel like going through the motions. Stressors test a relationship to the point of exhaustion, and worst case scenario, it ends in divorce. This is what has happened with Derek Carr and the Raiders. It felt inevitable that Las Vegas wanted to move on to a sexier option, and Carr has been laying some massive duds as of late. A scapegoat for the season's failure must be cast into the abyss. This Carr's being impounded. Benched for Jarrett Stidham. The ultimate humiliation. Sure, he's not the main problem the team has, but he's done no favors for himself either. Derek accepts this fate, and has exiled himself away from the team in a noble effort to not be a distraction. His days as a Raider are over. But this is probably the first domino to fall. Remember, Derek Carr was the only reason Davante Adams joined the Raiders organization. They're a package deal. Get those phones ready, Mr. Ziegler, because Adams is going to want out as well. Josh McDaniels once again running off as starting QB and star wide receiver in a year. Someone remind me how he's changed again? San Francisco is one of the hottest teams in football. The Raiders keep losing in embarrassing fashion. What does this equal? A close contest? So, is anyone gonna ask how Jarrett Stidham is doing this against one of the best defenses in football? This guy sucked in New England. How has he suddenly become the reincarnation of Ken Stabler in this offense? It's almost as if the spirit of Derek Carr is still with them from afar. And like that spirit, the fact that Stidham has to overcome an extremely porous defense is also in the cards. The Niners are a legit machine on the offensive side of the ball, but I don't think Las Vegas is keen on lying down to die. They have extremely slim playoff chances to maintain. Everyone that needed to lose has lost. The Raiders have gone out to a 10-point lead, but San Fran's pretty good at rubber banding back to tie. It's been pretty standard stuff from them, but the fighting and shootouts are fierce in the heart of Vegas. Touchdowns are being traded in kind as the fourth quarter continues to wind down. The game is now tied with San Francisco charging down the field, and they're in field goal range. Robbie Gould isn't gonna miss in a dome.
Good snap. Good hold. No good on the kick.
Oh, wow.
Missed it wide right.
How the hell are we going to overtime? This is a mistake. Someone has to fix this.
Adams Stidham. Wobbler for Adams, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Tashawn Gibson.
Oh, he's gone.
Gibson down the sidelines.
At least we have some sanity in this contest. With this pick, San Francisco wins and continues their torrid hot streak. As for the embarrassing Raiders, you're done. Now get out! Jeff Saturday said it best a few months ago. The Raiders look horrible. There would be no Jarrett Stidham magic. The only trickery will be the backdoor shenanigans Kansas City's known for. Think that disappearing penny trick repeated for 60 minutes. Literally zero fucks or respect given to their opponent. With how badly the silver and black are playing, it's justified. A win as easy as a man whore. To no one's surprise, KC claims number 1 seed in the AFC, and await Buffalo's home game to see if they'll have permanent home field for the playoffs. As Chiefs fans dominate the black hole like they're the new Village people, Mark Davis sits steaming at how it keeps happening. You moved to Las Vegas, one of the biggest tourist destinations in America. What did you expect, a red carpet and a blowy in your owner's box? But skinning the Patriots alive is gonna fix everything. You deserve this bullshit. We fucking told you, Raiders. Didn't you learn from the last 15 times anyone tried to skin the Patriots alive? Unless you have Brady or Belichick in tow, it doesn't work. Everyone and their mother knew that Josh McDaniels is a total hack. We saw it in Denver a decade ago. Yet Mark Davis has daddy issues and wants to prove he can run his team into the ground like Al did 15 years ago. It's not that the Raiders were losing. Regression was expected after last year's insane run. It's how they were losing. Humiliation at every turn. 3 blown leads of at least 17 points on the season. An offensive juggernaut that couldn't get past midfield against the Saints until late in the 4th quarter. A 2-7 start to the year is somehow not the low point. That would be losing to Jeff goddamn Saturday in the first game he coached in the NFL. His only win on the year. Or would that be blowing a final drive to Baker Mayfield? 2 days after he was claimed off waivers. All bad seasons need a scapegoat. And they've chosen Derek Carr for sacrifice. He's not responsible for how awful the defense was, but they can get Jimmy G or Aaron Rodgers to do the same shit or something. He has some blame to share, so he will be exiled. But here's the issue. Devontae Adams only came here because of Carr. If he goes, Adams may want out too. And they can't simply fire McDaniels. The Raiders have all their money tied up in the Bank of America loan. They're absolutely fucked. Josh McDaniels possibly running his starting QB and star wide receiver out of town again? You get what you fucking deserve, Las Vegas.